Hi, my name is Melissa Woody, and I am here to walk you through my 8 assignments for the course. I started with creating an assignment for having students analyze how art affects society. And I did this through going to a folder I made of art history. And the students will click right here. They'll look at artwork from past and present and discuss how it affects the world around us and our society. I've asked them to respond to my question and to respond to one peer's question at the same time. My second assignment that I posted is for students to make a response to a project they're currently working on. So I'm hoping to use this assignment Monday or Tuesday. And the students will go to the assignment and select audio recording describing their researched artist. So I've asked the students to go research an artist that will inspire their work. And I've asked them to then submit a voice recording talking me through why they've selected their artist and basically giving me supportive information that otherwise might not see in their workbook of why that artist inspires them. And this will help me as they start to move on, whether they are ready to move on or are really following their artist style the way they originally intended. So I'm hoping that this audio recording will help me out. My next assignment was a quiz, and I chose to create a quiz over the elements and principles. This was a unit that we actually covered at the beginning of the school year as kind of review, but I believe I need to start to revisit it as we start to get into heavier amounts of work and things start to speed up. And so I thought it was actually good to kind of go back and review some of that. So I created a elements and principles quiz for them. And to help them, I did end up giving them multiple choice. I gave them multiple choice of all of the possible elements and principles in both questions. So I'm going to see if they're able to decipher just the elements and just the principles in both questions. And then I have them come down, and we just finished a project on value. And I want to make sure that before we move on, that they understand different vocabulary of value that we're talking about. And so I'm looking for them to respond to me by telling me that within the shaded area would be blended value, and the outside area of this area in the paper would be flat value. And then I've also asked them a question about symbolism in art, because that's where our next unit is heading with our patriotic artwork. So I'm kind of using this quiz as a refresher of where we have been and where we are going to make sure that they are all following along. My other quiz that I had them do, or will have them do, is going to be on perspective. And I chose perspective. It's kind of a few weeks away, but I thought it would be good to get it started. So I went ahead and made a perspective quiz. And what I've asked the kids to do in this quiz is to identify if it's 1-point or 2-point perspective in these images. And then down below, I wanted to try something new, and I have really enjoyed using Sumo Paint in the past. Sumo Paint is a web link where kids can go on and draw similar to Photoshop, but it's very easy to use on their Chromebooks. And so I've asked them to go online and access Sumo Paint to draw 1-point and draw a 2-point perspective image. I'm hoping that they're able to take a screenshot of that and submit it in this response bank. My goal is that they can show a vanishing point, converging line, horizon line, vertical lines, all in the same format, but two different styles, 1 point and 2 point perspective, and then identify them by labeling them. And Sumo Paint, I believe, should be able to do this with a screenshot, and so the students would just have to access that program. And if they can't access it, then I will just go to paper method of this part of the quiz until I figure out a way to make it work. But I believe the students should be able to grab a line tool and draw in their horizon line and begin to form their perspective if they have vanishing points here and here. And they can begin to formulate that perspective. So that is something new I'm going to tinker with and see how that one works. I don't know where to go. So then my other thing was a discussion, and I decided to have the students do a critique. Critiques are super valid in art, and we don't really make enough time for them. So I decided to have the students do a little art critique. They're going to go to this link here. They're going to select insert content of an image that they took of their current artwork. So their project that they're working on at that moment, they're going to take a picture and they're going to submit it. They have to then go find 5 peers to comment on, and other people will then comment on theirs, is my goal. Kind of like your assignment of the dogs versus cats, where we commented on each other. So I'm hoping that students will get some really good feedback that normally they won't verbally get through a discussion in class. We have done roundtable written comments for students' critiques, and students like those, so I assume maybe they will really like this form of critique process about their work. The other one I chose was to do a comparative study. Again, something we don't really make enough time for in class, so a discussion piece this was a great opportunity to have students compare artwork. So I have an abstract piece of a portrait and a representational piece of a portrait. And I have asked the students to compare them and basically tell me which one they support and which one they don't, which one they like the best. I tried to make a rubric with this one. This was my first attempt making a rubric. And so I thought I would see how that works also. If I like the grading, if I don't, if it helps the students provide enough feedback given that they can see what they're graded on. So I'll be interested to see how the rubric goes with this. But I always enjoy seeing what students say they like and don't like about these 2 pieces of art. So then I went to the next piece, which was media file, and I could probably honestly do media files with everything in art, so I had to really be selective. And I chose to do anything that I saw posted as an idea, which was show and tell. And I put it in my Wednesday work file. Wednesdays aren't really enough time to really get into heavy workloads of making art. So I use Wednesdays as my time to kind of do art history, art discussions, art prompts, drawing from life. And so I thought this was maybe a good time to do some of these media files. So I did show and tell, and I'm going to ask them to go and look at 3 pieces of art that they see in everyday life. And I'm going to talk to them about what art really is, what it isn't. Does it have to be just a pretty painting? Or could it be something utilitarian? And I'm going to have them take a picture and include themselves in it, or at least their finger pointing at what they see as art, and then I'm going to have them post it here. If I don't use this for a Wednesday assignment, I'll use it for a weekend journal assignment and keep them thinking what art is around them at their home, or maybe even just at a city, restaurant area. The other one that I did was to submit a piece of artwork that shows dominance. I like being able to talk to kids about certain elements and principles of art that make them just think about a specific quality. And so in an upcoming project, we're going to be talking about dominance. And so I want them to go online, find a piece of art that they think represents dominance, and I want them to post it here and support why they think it has dominance. And then my last media file I put here too, and it's the Elements and Principles Scavenger Hunt. I thought they would really enjoy this on a Wednesday. Say 1, 2, 3, let's go. We're going to go on a scavenger hunt and post pictures of your elements and principles of art and have them identify which ones are which. So we might be in the hallway and they might find the lines on the locker, snap a picture real quick and submit that as a good way to show lines, or might even show pattern. So just get them up, moving, thinking about elements and principles, again, around the world around them, and kind of a little bit of a different way to talk about the elements and principles. So that is my assignments that I have created. I'm hoping they all work, and if they don't, we'll modify them. And I know the students will give me feedback if they like it or don't like it. So I'm hoping that it all works well, or that I can learn how to use some of the things like Sumo Paint in this Schoology also. Thank you for your time. Hope you enjoyed it.